Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to you all. Welcome to the QE2 Conference Centre here in Westminster for this year's Cima AGM. As usual, just before we begin, one or two housekeeping announcements to be made, so give your kind attention just for a moment or two, please. In the event of fire or any other emergency, the alarm will sound and you'll be asked to evacuate the building quickly and calmly. Please don't use the lifts, make your way downstairs to the meeting point, which is just opposite in front of the Abbey. And in the very, very unlikely event of anything like that happening today, we will hopefully gather downstairs, wait for the all clear, and return back when we receive that so the event can continue. Ladies and gentlemen, there are toilets on this floor and on the floor below. On this floor, gentlemen, just through the door you came through, and for ladies, just outside the door to my left on that side if you do need them. And there is water at the back of the room. If anybody does need that, please do go and help yourself. Just before we begin, my usual request, of course, please do check if you haven't done this already, your mobile phones, your Blackberries, your iPhones, anything else that bleeps. Please do check them now and kindly ensure turn to silent or preferably switched off for everyone's comfort for the duration of the AGM. Please do attend to that now. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you'll enjoy the AGM, and for those of you staying, the lunch that will follow afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, to begin the day, would you please welcome the President of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, Mr. Malcolm Ferber.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is good to see so many friends and members here today. I welcome you to Cima's 95th Annual General Meeting. The notice of the AGM sets out the agenda for the meeting. The notice was circulated to all members in good standing pursuant to Regulation 318. May I take the notice convening the meeting as read? Aye. Thank you. I would like to introduce the top table to you. Working from our far left is Gwazari Baba, immediate past president, Miriam Madden, vice president, and Keith Luck, deputy president. To my right is Charles Tilley, our chief executive. On his right are Maggie Heisman, head of corporate affairs, Robert Bulling from Morris Turner Gardner LLP, our lawyers, and Stephen Correll from Chantry Vellicott DFK Chartered Accountants, our auditors. As in previous years, a representative from the Electoral Reform Services, Alex Loney, is present and will oversee the voting at this meeting, specifically if a poll is required. Thank you.
We will start this with the President's address, which will be followed by the main business of this meeting. There will be an opportunity to ask questions on the individual resolutions as they are put to the meeting. Further questions on general matters of the Institute business will be addressed under item number 4. So as immediate past President, it gives me great pleasure to call upon the current President to make his address to us. The 80th President of Cima, Malcolm Ferber.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning and welcome to Cima's 2014 Annual General Meeting. Today I'd like to spend a little time not just outlining the key projects that Cima has been developing in the interest of its members over the last year, but also some of the exciting projects in the Institute's pipeline. But I'm going to begin by saying how proud I have been President during a truly game-changing period in Cima's history. As we celebrate the Institute's 95th anniversary, I can confidently say that Cima has stayed true to its roots in guarding the public interest and developing the science of management accounting. I would also like to briefly highlight what I consider Cima's main successes and challenges in today's market. Firstly, the Institute is moving successfully towards completing its strategy cycle to 2015. We have seen successive years of record student growth, but we must continue to work on further improving the support given to our students and accelerating the pathway to full membership. Our new student community platform, Cima Connect, will be an important part of this when it's launched in November. Our financial position remains solid. However, we have some significant investment commitments in terms of driving our 2020 strategy, funding changes in examination and assessment and delivery, and maintaining our commitment to thought leadership and employability. These initiatives lead to the question of raising the annual subscription fee income, which will be put to the vote shortly. I would also like to express my continuing enthusiasm for the growing strength of Cima's work in embedding the value of the CGMA designation into the business conscience. Today, we have a collective community of more than 130,000 designation holders spanning more than 177 countries, and our awareness raising continues to make great strides. Finally, I would like just to touch on the issue of Cima's professional conduct processes. Following a 4-month review, both the Professional Standards Committee review panel and senior regulatory external counsel have reaffirmed that our conduct regime is fit for purpose. However, we are keen to ensure that there is a better awareness and understanding of the disciplinary processes, and so a number of enhancements will be put in place from next year to increase visibility. There will be better signposting to guidance for those who may need it. We're exploring whether we might introduce an informal mediation service to prevent disputes from escalating into formal complaints. And we will also continue to extend our use of technology at hearings to provide greater global accessibility. So let's move on and look at where we are in 2014. Cima's message is crystal clear. Management accounting is critical to business success. Now let's put that into context by looking at the current business climate. From Cima's recent discussions with some of the most successful business leaders, it is clear that there are currently 5 main issues. Briefly, these are the disconnect between business, population and the economy, the need to focus on customer experience and get transparency of customer profitability, the positive and negative impact of technology and the digital world, the explosion of data and how to harness it, and finally the need to think more long-term in relation to reporting and indeed the business model. Our key focus is this: better business practices and better skilled professionals are essential if we are to successfully meet the challenges ahead, and management accountants play a key role in this equation. Cima will underpin our members' relevance by redefining how business is done. At the heart of Cima's DNA is employability. The Institute has been looking very closely at the current global employability crisis and the worrying disconnect between employers' needs and the skills that young people in education are being equipped with. Our report, Ready for Business, Bridging the Employability Gap, summarises Cima's responses to this crisis and how we will reflect our proposed solutions in the revised syllabus for 2015. The backbone to our work on employability is a CGMA competency framework. This is the result of a comprehensive research into the roles of management accountants, the skills employers expect them to have, and how these are changing. The framework itself really gets to the heart of what CGMAs do in supporting organisations and creating value by aligning their skills with what the business needs. This research has also fed into our wider management accounting framework, formulated by Cima and our joint venture partner, the American Institute of CPAs. This project consists of our updated 2015 syllabus and assessment, a pioneering set of global management accounting principles, and a professional development tool to help members progress their careers. So let's look at each of these briefly to see how they will be game changers. The new global management accounting principles are far more than a set of guidelines. The principles have been designed to enable finance professionals to connect the dots, ensuring a direct line of sight between the organisation's objectives and the practices and processes of management accounting. The 90-day consultation period on the principles ended on May the 10th, and the reaction has actually been fantastic. Over 400 people from more than 20 countries participated, and contributors have included the Financial Reporting Council, the Department for Business Innovation and Skills, and the Chinese Institute of CPAs. The revised principles will be launched later this year, and I firmly believe that they will allow organisations to strengthen their management accounting function, improve resilience, and further underscore the importance of employing management accounting at the heart of their businesses. In terms of training, better skilled professionals, Cima has always consulted with business leaders to ensure that its syllabus is fit for purpose. However, as I have mentioned, in revising the syllabus for launch in 2015, focus on providing methods to reduce the skills gap in our profession. The most radical change to our 2015 syllabus is a transition to computer-based testing methods. And here, I would like to assure you that this is by no means a case of dumbing down. In fact, it is quite the opposite. Our new approach allows Cima to access a wider range of testing methods and assess the variety of skills and competencies at different levels. It also allows us to embed the principle that knowledge is not enough. The key is understanding how you apply that knowledge. Central to this project is our partnership with Pearson VUE, the world's leading computer-based testing and assessment business. The company has over 20 years of experience in this field and already runs our computer-based assessment for the entry level, the Cima Certificate in Business Accounting. Cima's partnership with Pearson VUE also means that we have boosted the global reach of our examination centres to over 5,000 worldwide, including remote locations such as the Falkland Islands. The Pearson VUE partnership has led to a number of benefits, including cutting the cost of time and travel to take exams, robust service provision at examination centres, and greater flexibility in terms of when students can take their exams. The structure and content of the revised syllabus demonstrates that we are leading the profession in finding solutions to bridging the employability gap and ensuring that finance professionals are truly work-ready. Cima will showcase its work in this area at the World Congress of Accountants in Rome this November. Cima and the AICPA are lead sponsors of the IFAC event under the title of the CGMA designation. This will provide a real opportunity to share our employability solutions with the rest of the profession. The work we have done on employability is hugely important in defining our professionalism. The fact that our members are bound by codes of conduct and ethics also provides organisations with that vital trust factor and the assurance that their financial management is in safe hands. In terms of building and retaining public trust, Cima is also highlighting the excellent work being done by some of today's business leaders. In recognition of their strong leadership and exceptional contribution to management accounting, we recently awarded honorary fellowships to Sir Charlie Mayfield, Chairman of the John Lewis Partnership, and Jean-Marc Huet, CFO of Unilever. Only 8 such awards have been given in the history of the Institute. These awards underscore the fact that Cima continues to be aligned with business visionaries. One of the strongest messages to come out of our work on the employability is the importance of building partnerships. A growing volume of our research involves close collaboration with other expert bodies in business and academia, and we have found this has been particularly effective in terms of ensuring that our conclusions are based on first-class information and insight. Today, our #1 relationship is with our joint venture partner, the AICPA, and I'm pleased to have the AICP President and CEO, Barry Mellinson, with us here today. 2015 will mark an important year in galvanising the bond between the two institutes. From next year, AICPA members wishing to hold the CGMA designation will take the same final examination as their Cima counterparts. This is part of the process of creating a common competency standard between the two institutes. So having launched a joint venture in 2012, by 2015 we will have a common platform under the competency framework, encompassing the syllabus, professional standards and a professional development tool. We will also have the global management accounting principles, a growing library of thought leadership and an increasing community of CGMA designation holders around the world. Moving forward, we are working on a number of new collaborations, including the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, that will focus on harnessing the value of human capital and identifying risk and opportunity in the business model. 2014 has also seen new agreements with the Malaysian Institute of Accountants and the Indonesian Institute of Accountants. We are also pleased to be working with the British Council to build capacity in Burma, Myanmar. Cima is also having a significant impact on the public sector. Most recently, we have been working with the Institute of Government to underline the value of management information and appropriate financial leadership structures in central government. The Institute was also involved in the recent Treasury review of financial management in government. In addition, last year, the National Audit Office formed an expert panel to support the NAO's work on raising awareness amongst senior public sector decision makers of how cost management can help them make the right decisions. A joint report will be published later this year. Management accounting in central government has had a significant boost with the appointment of Cima members Julian Kelly as the Treasury's Director General for Public Spending and Finance, and David Allen, who is now Deputy Head of Government Finance. Of course, our incoming President, Keith Luck, also has a distinguished public sector career and is keen to develop more public sector project partnerships outside of the UK. So how do we know that Cima is fit for purpose in 2014? The short answer is that everything we do is designed for the long term. Let's look at a few examples. Our commitment to enhancing our members' career is exemplified by our approach to continuing professional development. Our CPD requirement ensures that Cima members adapt their skills to the changing needs of business. Running alongside this, we are currently devising a professional development tool that will help members to identify any skill gaps they have or what skills they will need for promotion, together with support and guidance on how to attain these skills. Combined with the CGMA competency framework, this new tool will provide a vital resource for our members to future-proof their careers. Cima also prides itself in the quality of the thought leadership reports it produces to keep members informed of crucial business trends and developments, such as integrated reporting, natural capital accounting, and big data. Our members ignore this valuable work at their peril. All in all, Cima is making great strides forward, and 2015 promises to be another game-changing year as we develop the initiatives I have outlined. We will also be relocating our corporate centre head offices. While prompted by our landlord's decision to repropose the Chapter Street building, this gives us an opportunity to find a space appropriate for Cima and its mission. Through the Institute's work, business leaders are being encouraged to reflect deeply on their businesses, their business models and their strategies. As a result, a growing number of organisations are recognising the value that our members can bring in terms of helping them adapt to the challenges ahead. As the CEO of Barclays said to Charles Tilley recently, there has never been such a high focus on management accountants at Barclays as there is today. Finally, I cannot close without saying how indebted I am to the Cima staff around the world, led by Charles, who have provided such excellent support and enthusiasm during my presidential year. In particular, I would like to thank everybody who made the finals of the Global Business Challenge in my adoptive home of South Africa a fantastic experience. I am particularly appreciative of the commitment shown by members in Council, regions, areas and branches, and the various committees. Demand on presidential time is increasing year on year, and I therefore extend a huge appreciation to immediate past President Gulzari Baba, Deputy President Keith Luck, and Vice President Miriam Madden for their exceptional work in supporting me during my period of office and consequently the Institute. And it goes without saying that without the support of my family, this would not be at all possible. For this, I thank them. I now step down from my presidential year, fully confident that Cima will fulfil its mission to embed the true value of management accounting into the DNA of businesses all over the world. Thank you. We now move to the resolutions of the meeting. I call upon Maggie Heasburn, Head of Corporate Affairs, to confirm that a quorum is present.
I confirm a quorum is present.
Thank you, Maggie. May I draw your attention to the copy of the notice of the annual general meeting. I will not be reading out the full text of the resolutions, but will on each occasion refer you to the notice. Prior to the vote, I will take questions on each resolution. All votes will be on a show of hands by raising your red attendance card. If the vote is inconclusive, it may be necessary to call a poll, and in these circumstances, I will ask the Electoral Reform Service representative to oversee it. If you have a question, can I ask you to wait for the microphone to be passed to you before you start to speak? And please start by giving your name. In line with normal practice, I will refer questions to the Chief Executive, the Senior Management Team, Cima's Solicitor or Cima's Auditors on certain items where appropriate. Finally, every member here is entitled to vote in a show of hands, even if he or she has already voted by proxy. This will not be the case in the event of a poll being called. Resolutions numbered 1 to 3 are ordinary resolutions, which require a simple majority in order to be carried. The first item on our agenda is to receive and consider the report of the Council and the accounts of the Institute for the year ended 31st of December 2013. Can we take the report and summary financial statements on pages 38 to 42 of the annual report and the accounts and the financial statements as read? Aye. Are there any questions or comments on this item?
Thank you, President. You'll be pleased to know it's not a question. Not a question, but it is definitely a comment. There is actually an error of fact in the annual report. It says on more than one occasion in there, and I've heard this and seen it in print over the last few years, that the Institute was founded as the Institute of Cost and Works Accountants. It wasn't. It was incorporated in March 1919 as the Institute of Cost Accountants. It renamed itself a couple of months later because there was another institute that didn't like us being called ACA. They've caused us a lot of trouble since, but okay. Can we please ensure in the next 5 years, as we run up to the centenary, that this does not get repeated? Because it drives me up the wall every time I see it.
Thank you. Noted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Daphne Marlow. I was looking through the documents and I was searching out the reserves policy, and I don't seem to be able to find one. Normally, I would have expected it to be published. Perhaps somebody could enlighten us what it is, please.
John? I'll ask John Windle, please.
Good morning, John Windle, Cima's Chief Financial and Operating Officer. The reserves policy is a risk-based policy. It assesses a certain number of risks that Cima faces and places a value upon those. On accumulating that value, that becomes the sum that we seek to retain as liquid reserves on the balance sheet. So, for example, we look at income and we look at the risk of a loss of income, we look at the risk of a major project failure and other sort of operating type risks.
Thank you, John. Any more questions?
Excuse me, John, that doesn't really help us understand what sort of number we're talking about and on what basis you computed it. Do you think it would be helpful if we had that information for future reference? Because I certainly do.
We will take that point on board, and one of the things I would like to say about this annual report is it has been produced in the context of an integrated report, and that is the aim is to provide transparency and where we are, where we're going on all material issues, and we will take that point into account.
Therefore, I propose that the report of the Council and the accounts for the year ended 31st December 2013 be received. Vote will be on the show of red attendance card. All those in favour, please raise your red attendance cards. All those against, please raise your red attendance cards. All those abstaining? There has been a simple majority in favour. Alex, do you agree?
I agree.
The resolution has been carried. For the record, the number of proxy returns received are shown on the screen. I am pleased to note that the online voting has produced an increase of around 45% on last year, by the way. Item 2. The second item on the agenda is the reappointment of the auditors. Cima's constitution, specifically bylaw 41, states that this meeting is required to appoint the auditors until the close of the annual general meeting, next annual general meeting. Are there any questions or comments on this item?
Raj Tyagaraja, co-opted member to the Council. Mr. President, this is not a question about the current appointment, but on the policy regarding appointment of auditors, does the current Council have a policy regarding auditor rotation? I do not refer to retendering, but in terms of periodic rotation of auditors.
I will hand it over to John, but the Audit Committee are focused upon that, and we've obviously had very recent changes in regulation in terms of audit tendering. So, John, if you'd like to just give the detail, please.
The external auditors are required to rotate the audit partner responsible for Cima in accordance with financial reporting guidance. The current lead partner has been in place for 1 year, so there is an auditor rotation policy in place, and Stephen has been in place for 1 year.
Thank you, John. I propose that we now move on to a vote on item 2, as stated in the notice of the meeting. Once again, voting will be on the show of your red attendance cards. All those in favour, please raise your red attendance cards. All those against? All those abstaining? Thank you. There has been a simple majority in favour. Alex, do you agree?
I agree.
The resolution has been carried. For the record, the tally of proxy returns received is shown on the screen. Item 3 on the agenda is members' fees and subscriptions for 2015. Are there any questions or comments regarding this item?
Definitely a question this time. I'm putting aside the 5% increase in fees because I'm sure you'll find some way of justifying it. I haven't found it yet. But what my real question is can somebody explain to me the value proposition for the extra £13 for the fellowship fee? Because I can't see what we get for it. And if there's no answer to that, then can somebody explain to me, is there a procedure for actually downgrading oneself to an associate?
I alluded to some of the items in my speech, actually. There has to be a significant investment in the platform going forward for examination and assessment, and that is future-proofing the qualification, guarding your future as well as a member. Not just because the people look at you, people coming behind you, and the quality coming forward. The other thing is that we need to keep our members updated, and there's going to be a hell of a lot more in the thought leadership space, making sure that you are fit and don't go past your sell-by date. So it's really about future-proofing the qualification is the majority of that increase. Charles, would you like to add anything?
I mean, the only thing I would add is that in line with what we said in the annual review last year, that we were making these significant investments, and we therefore gave a heads up that was going to happen, and we have committed to those investments. I don't believe there is a process to downgrade to associate. But if there is one, Rod, we'll let you know.
Thank you. I propose that we now move to voting on item 3, as stated in the notice of the meeting. On a show of your red attendance cards. All those in favour? All those against? All those abstaining? There has been a simple majority in favour. Alex, do you agree? I agree. The resolution has been carried. For the record, the tally of proxy returns is shown on the screen. Thank you. That concludes the formal resolutions. I will now take any general business questions relating to the Institute business. In answering any questions, I would like to remind you that we are here to account as counsel for Cima and its business, not to provide detailed information not relevant to council's accountability. In line with normal practice, I may need to refer questions to the Chief Executive, SMT, Cima's solicitor or Cima's auditors on certain items where appropriate. Once again, for the purposes of the minutes, please kindly say your name before you speak. Thank you. We now move on to item 5, Institute's medals. It gives me great pleasure to be able to present the Institute medals to 4 long-standing members of our Institute. Firstly, the presentation of the Institute Silver Medal to Dr. Y.C. Lee. Y.C., having registered as a student on 7th of February 1979, passed the final examination and was elected directly to fellowship on 12th of June 1986. Y.C. joined the Divisional Council of Cima Malaysia in 1998 and was subsequently elected as President of Cima Malaysia in 2004. As President, he was actively involved in career presentations at various local and private universities, and was a pioneering member of the team who championed the establishment of the National Award for Management Accounting. YC was elected council member for Area 16 from 2010 to 2013, during which time he played a crucial role in the formation of the Southeast Asia Regional Board, becoming its first chairman in 2011. In 2010, YC was the organising chairman of the 18th World Congress of Accountants, held in Malaysia, which garnered the biggest ever participation for a World Congress so far. A hugely successful event showcasing management accounting in Malaysia. In addition to his contribution to Cima, YC was also a council member of the local regulatory accounting body, the Malaysian Institute of Accountants, from 2004 to 2010, where he attended regular meetings and took part in strategy and policy matters regarding the accounting profession in Malaysia. YC has been one of Cima's most active and distinguished members for over 27 years, with an outstanding contribution to the advancement of the Institute and the accounting profession. I now call YC to the stage. It gives me great pleasure to honour YC with the Institute's Silver Medal.
Put your thumb in it.
Let's move forward. Let's move forward a bit, please.
Okay, Malcolm, there's one more. Now, do you want to, YC, do you want to speak? No?
So shy after a dingus to swing your Sorry. Secondly, the presentation of the Institute Silver Medal to Francis Rowlands. Sorry. Francis, having registered as a student in October 1973, passed the final examination and also was elected directly to fellowship in September 1985. Giving his standing as probably one of the longest-serving active members, Francis Rowlands' activities carve a large footprint across Cima. He's been a member of council almost continuously from 1992 to 2013, having started from within the Sussex branch. There, his versatility and effectiveness saw him progress through to the branch secretary, vice president to branch president, putting in many valuable hours, local planning to ensure a full programme for members. He was a member of the Area 12 Coordinating Committee and vice chairman and area chairman. As a council member, he served on many committees, including as chairman of the International Development Committee, now Global Markets, a role he held for 5 years. Francis's work for Cima has been tireless over all these years, and he's been a major contributor to much of our overseas expansion, particularly in Southeast Asia, as a seasoned business traveller in the region. This owes much to his dedicated and incisive consciousness in giving Cima members and their employers what they want and need, and he has spoken up many times in council to ensure this happens. He's earned a great reputation for his openness and integrity. In February 2014, Francis reluctantly retired from the Area 12 Regional Board due to his increasing business work in North and Southeast Asia. I now call on Francis to the stage. It gives me great pleasure to honour Francis Rowlands with the Institute Silver Medal. Thank you.
Malcolm. I'll take you. Just give me that one back. Thank you. Got your water if you need it, all right? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'm not as shy as YC, my friend over there. You might regret that. You've made rather a mistake, Mr. President. You've given me a microphone and a platform. But I'll try not to abuse it. I made a mistake too back in 1991. I asked an old friend of mine and Institute gold medalist, Jim Francis, how else I could help. I didn't realise it was such a mistake. It's taken rather a long time. And in fact, it took a change of council regulations to get rid of me. However, what was it like then? Well, I'm not going to go through 21 years. You'll be mightily relieved. But I started serving under the late and great Institute Secretary Sir George Vallings, who was former Vice Admiral of Her Majesty's Royal Navy. And it was his management style that I really appreciated, enjoyed immensely, and over the years that I've been in business, I've tried to emulate his style, his quiet management style that simply had everybody following him. But as one of my several of my friends, closest friends here, know, I actually, when I received this information that I was to be honoured in this way, I actually wanted to write back and was about to write a letter back to say thank you very much. I really appreciate the recognition. But thank you, but I don't really want a medal, because all I've done is what I was elected to do, and that was to serve the Institute. And my local Area 12, South East England, elected me to do that, and rather foolishly, they kept on re-electing me. So I kept coming back, as it were. But seriously, I think the medal belongs to a lot of other people. And I'd like to name two groups of people, if I may. And despite your advice, past President Glynn, my hairdresser is not amongst them. But these people have been the instigators of what we've achieved, working with them. They've been the ones that have tirelessly made things actually happen. I've just told them what I think should be happening and urged them to go on and do it. And they've worked at the grassroots long after I've come home. But the two groups. First of all, I'd like to start with our members and start with the regional board pilots, because this was radical. This step, the regional pilot programme, some 8 years or so ago, can't remember exactly. It was innovative and radical, and we set up two groups, one in the northwest and one in the southeast of England. And in the northwest, that was a big challenge because they'd been hugely successful with the structure that previously existed and widely respected. And they probably outshone the UK. And here we were turning it upside down. So well done to David and Wilf and to Francesca and Frank Rowe, Phil Barker and many others who served on that pilot up there. And the other pilot was down in the southeast England. And here I must give thanks to our two sadly missed members, the late Jim McCluskey and David Hussey, who, along with our council members Stephanie, sitting here, and Marcus today, they still carry on that work, and we've made those regional board programmes very successful too. I'd also like to thank our past president, John Coghlan. I haven't seen you this morning, I'm not sure if you're here, John, but you gave me the chance to become chairman of the IDC. And I thank you, John, for your trust in that. I didn't realise how much extra work it was going to give me, but thank you for your trust, and I hope that I've delivered on that job over the years. But I was also lucky that Cima brought in a visionary at that time, a chap called Rick Sturge, into the SME, and he was allocated the IDC to work with. And that was fortunate for me because when I told Rick that I wanted to see if we could build a global regional board structure where members and staff would work closely together, locally empowered, driving things forwards from their market perspective, not from here in London. And Rick said, let's go and do it. And that was really great news. It took quite a lot of work, but we probably have actually made most of that happen. Then there's others who've worked hard over in Ireland. And I'd like to here mention particularly Tom O'Connor, who led the working party that I set up to try to build one common voice for all our students and members in Ireland. And I know that was such a terrific challenge. And he was supported with Sharon McHugh and with Harold Baird. And Harold and I spent many hours on the phone as he was driving up and down Ireland, chatting to me on the phone as he did so. Hands-free, I hope, Harold. Moving westward to Europe, I spent a long weekend on top of a mountain retreat in Switzerland with Henry Ferguson and our good friend Ian Kleinman, and some very powerful Cima business leaders in Europe that had come together with lots of brilliant ideas. And regrettably, at the time, we didn't have the directorate that wanted to move it forwards. And they're still working on those, and thanks to Hilary, if you're here today, you're still busy plodding away at those ideas from your home in France. And let me thank Lalith Fonseca in Sri Lanka. He and I have spent many discussions, I should say, in my hotel room prior to an IDC, post-breakfast as it were. But Lalith, his guidance, his quiet, logical mind and way of putting forwards the needs, challenges, problems of the local marketplace, I just had to listen every time. Then over in Africa, two members stand out, but one of them we've already elevated and heard much from, my friend here, Malcolm. in his adopted homeland. There couldn't be a better, more dedicated person for our members and students than you, Malcolm. So, hearty congratulations. I'm really pleased that you've had that year to be able to work that through. The other person whose natural charm and beauty hides a powerful determination, and whose lilting Botswanian tones just make you sit and listen to her. There's Marivon Palundes. What better profile could we have had than this young lady who's moved from one successful career, retraining to become a Cima member, raising a great family, supporting her successful husband in business, and carving out a high-profile career for herself in South Africa, and giving us every spare minute to develop the Cima brand across that nation. Let's move a little bit further west. We're nearly at the end of our global trot, but Asia, there have been so many members that have helped us out in Asia, from Malaysia and my good friend YC. I'm really pleased that you've become recognised here. And through to Hong Kong. Lots of challenges we've had over the years, but I must identify one particular member who at times has single-handedly kept our profile, our flag raised in Hong Kong. And some of those periods were extremely difficult and extremely challenging because of our lack of awareness. Us British don't necessarily think the same way as the Orientals, I can assure you. Spent 10 years working there. He's worked tirelessly to keep people together when the Divisional Council was threatened with dissolution. He's led the team that I set up to develop the regional board structure. And thank you for all your unceasing work. My good friend, Kenneth Chan. Incidentally, he's now into his 7th decade and he's still jumping on aeroplanes and coming here to London umpteen times a year. You deserve this medal. All of you, not me. I just told you what I wanted you to do. But I said there were 2 groups, and the second group is the staff that I've worked with since 1992. But don't worry, Mr. President, I'm not going to name 21 years of staff. But here in London, there have been so many, and I must congratulate Maggie, and then the Secretariat team over the years, Jane, who's had to take my minutes. That must have been very tough in global markets. I do tend to want full minutes. And Tahira and so on. But there's 1 or 2 others who have worked very hard. And I mentioned the 2 regional pilots that we struggled with to get launched and working here. Dave Rousby. Again, I don't know whether you're here yet, or here today, Dave, but Dave was the chap whose job it was at the Institute to try to make this happen. And it must have tested his Yorkie patience. So many times we wanted to just keep doing things the way we've always done them, as opposed to making this brave new step forwards. But he could see the future, and fortunately that's worked, and so it has for Dave. He's now our director. And moving east, Sri Lanka, I can't not mention Sri Lanka. We had some enormous pressures, daily pressures, and I was sent there for a few days to try to see what we could do. I'm sure very few can imagine the extent. But Bradley Emerson maintained a professional and business-like approach to his duties and tried to keep his team on track despite daily interferences, unflattering press campaigns, and many people simply not understanding what was going on. And I really believe, Bradley, you deserve this medal for all you've done there. Sri Lanka, of course, is still one of our heartlands. And I can't finish without giving one to someone who's, above all others, have done more for Cima in Africa than anyone I know on our staff team. This person has delivered our objectives time and time again and has worked with her team tirelessly. She's worked with the regional boards, members and students, with just one ideal: to take the Cima brand forwards as the brand, the qualification for business. She's worked so hard at that. But one example of this, I went there to the annual strategic planning workshop in Cape Town with Rick to deliver the Global Market Committee's new strategy for Africa. And what we'd agreed in GMC was it's time that the African boundaries were opened up further. The marketplace was ready, and we moved the boundaries up from South Africa to sub-Sahara Africa. And I phoned Sam and told her what I was coming to announce. And I told her that we actually would be giving her another 40+ countries to work with. And she took it completely in her stride. Totally unfazed, she just said, "By when?" And I said, "Take your time. You might not want to bring all 40 in. Let's work at it at your pace." Samantha Louis, you deserve this medal for all your work. I know I've missed a few people out, I'm sorry. I couldn't remember them all, and probably I'd get thrown off the stage if I did try to remember everybody. But you've worked hard, staff and members and students, and you deserve recognition. I've only just been the one telling you what to do, but thank you very much, Mr. President.
Wow, we did make a mistake there, didn't we? No, seriously, you do deserve it. Thirdly, the presentation of the Institute Silver Medal to Peter Summerfield. Peter, having registered as a student in 1971, was elected straight to fellowship in 1979. Peter was a member of the Dublin and District Branch from 1979 until 1982, where he held many positions and helped organise many functions while serving on the branch committee. He served on the then Republic of Ireland Committee in various roles, including that of Treasurer from 1981 to 1983. Peter moved to Cork and joined the Cork and Kerry branch in 1985 and held further positions within the branch, culminating in branch president in 1990. As president, he formed a new ideas subcommittee, bringing in new young members, all of whom have in turn become branch presidents. Peter was elected as a member of the Republic of Ireland Council for the Cork and Kerry branch area in 1989 and served until 1991. Peter served as the Consultative Committee of Accountancy Bodies Ireland and represented as a member of the Republic Island of Council from 1992 to 2011. He is still a member of the Technical Committee, which reviews the latest developments in auditing and accounting standards, and also the Taxation Committee South, which discusses the latest tax legislation and prepares presentations to government on suggested changes. Peter also attended the first historic meeting of officials from the Northern Ireland branch and the Republic of Ireland Council on the 9th of October 2005, which led to the formation of the Ireland Board. He also serves as the Chair, Southern Representatives of the Cima Benevolent Association, covering Waterford, Cork and Kerry. Peter lectured part-time for 4 years in financial accounting and costing at the Cork University Institute of Technology. He used the opportunity to introduce the students to local branch officers and obtain new branch committee members. Peter has been a hugely active and distinguished member for over 35 years and has made an outstanding contribution to the advancement of the Institute in Ireland. He attributes his lifelong interest in management accounting to working in a Cork brewery in the 1970s, which operated all the sophisticated Bass Charrington systems of standard process costing and delivery cost control. Peter's private interests, apart from his family, are cricket, tennis and golf. Peter has been heavily involved in cricket administration, where he has served for 18 years as Honorary Treasurer of the Munster Cricket Union and 14 years as Treasurer of Cork County Cricket Club. The same determination was applied to the huge input he applied to the Cima activities in which he was involved. I now call Peter to the stage. It gives me great pleasure to honour Peter with the Institute's Silver Medal.
Going to speak?
Well, Francis, you're a hard act to follow. I'll do my best. President, members of Council, fellow members, I would like to thank you most sincerely for this great and very unexpected honour. I want to convey to you how shocked I am to have been chosen from all the members in Ireland to receive this award. I sincerely believe I have got more from Cima membership in the networking and friendship than I have given myself. Therefore, I should like to dedicate this award, with your permission, to the ordinary members in the branches in Ireland who have been my Cima colleagues and friends over the last 35 years. And now, if we have time, I'd like to say a few words about Cima in Ireland. When the Republic of Ireland was granted divisional status in 1987, it really surged forward, with the doubling in membership over a very short period. Cima members held many of the top jobs in industry, banking, and the semi-state sector. These members gave generously of their spare time to serve on the then Republic of Ireland Council. The ROI division gave 3 distinguished presidents to the Institute: Tom Glancy, Harry Byrne, and John Coughlin. However, we had longed for many years to have an All-Ireland body. I remember attending a dinner in Belfast in the early 80s at the height of the Troubles. It was held in the Conway Hotel within sight of the famous DeLorean car plant. The hotel was surrounded by a security fence, and we were searched on the way in and nervously kept away from the big windows downstairs. Since then, we have kept up our contacts with Northern Ireland, with golf matches and meetings. In my case, I served on the main board of CCABI with Harold Baird, both of us travelling from opposite ends of the island. We always talked about a golf game in Skerry's Golf Club on the way home, but sadly never found time for it. But how things have changed in recent times in Ireland. In 2012, the All-Ireland Board was established under the chairmanship of Patrick Barr, a Northern Ireland member. The island of Ireland has been divided into 4 brand new administrative areas to better serve our expanding membership. And more importantly, the torch has been passed to a young and vibrant generation to take Cima to new heights. We have had 3 very well-attended and successful functions in Belfast, in prestigious surroundings. The first in the historic offices of the Belfast Harbour Masters. The second in the beautiful and recently restored Belfast City Hall. And the third in the brand new Titanic Centre, attended by the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, and presided over by the Cima Global President, our own Harold Baird. Finally, I want to thank you again for this great honour and make special mention of a person well known to you all, who persuaded me to join the Dublin and District Branch all those years ago in 1979, Tom Glancy. Thank you, Tom, and thank you, fellow members.
Finally, Sutesh Balasubramaniam has been also awarded the Institute Silver Medal, but sadly he is unable to be with us today. He will be given his award in his home country in the near future. Thank you. We now come to item 6 of the agenda of the meeting, which is the election of the Institute Vice President, Deputy President and President for 2014-2015. I call upon Keith Luck, Deputy President, and Vice President Miriam Madden to remove their badges of office. The 3 resolutions under item 6 are ordinary resolutions and require a simple majority. First, we have the election of Vice President. I propose that this meeting hereby elects Andrew Miskin as Vice President of the Institute for the ensuing year. All those in favour, please raise your red attendance cards. All those against, please raise your red attendance cards. Nobody. All those abstaining, please raise your red attendance cards. There has been a simple majority in favour. Alex, do you agree? For the record, the tally of proxy returns is shown on the screen. The resolution to elect Andrew Miskin as Vice President has been carried. Andrew, will you please come forward? Andrew, I invest you with your badge of office and invite you to take your place at the top table.
Handshake and photo, please.
We now come to the election of the Deputy President. I propose that this meeting hereby elects Miriam Madden as Deputy President of the Institute for the ensuing year. All those in favour, please raise your red attendance cards. All those against? All those abstaining? There has been a simple majority in favour. Alex, do you agree?
I agree.
For the record, the tally of proxy returns is shown on the screen. The resolution to elect as Deputy President has been carried. Miriam, would you come forward? Miriam, I invest you with your badge of office.
Handshake and photo, please.
We now move to the election of the 81st President of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. I propose that this meeting elects Keith Luck to the office of the President of the Institute for the coming year. All those in favour, please raise your red attendance cards. Against, please raise your red attendance cards. Any abstentions? Thank you. There has been a simple majority in favour. Alex, do you agree? For the record, the tally of proxy returns is shown on the screen. The resolution to elect Keith Luck as President has been carried. Keith, would you please come forward? Please stand for the investiture of our new President. Keith Luck, you have been formally elected to the office of the President, and it is my pleasant duty to pass on to you the insignia of office. I do not, however, consider that my duty ends here. In accordance with tradition, I call upon you to declare that during your term of office you will devote yourself to the interests and advancement of the Institute. On your part, therefore, I seek your assurance that you accept the trust, that you will fulfil it faithfully and assiduously, and that before handing on your responsibilities, you will seek a similar assurance from your successor.
I promise to do so.
I invest you with this presidential badge of office as a mark of your high station. And I hand you the Institute gavel as a symbol of the authority invested in you.
Now do the photo, please.
My first duty as President is to present Malcolm Ferber with the past President's badge.
stand again, just do the photo, please.
Please be seated. As I've not been notified of any further additional business for this meeting, I have pleasure in closing this meeting to a close. Thank you for attending this year's AGM, and I very much look forward to seeing you next year. I now declare the meeting closed at 12:10.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that completes the formal AGM. For those of you leaving us now, we wish you a very, very safe onward journey and a very pleasant afternoon. For those of you who have been invited to stay for our lunch, it's one floor down in the Mountbatten Lounge. Please make your way down there. Can I please remind you there will be another meeting in here immediately. So if you're making your way downstairs, please do so quickly so we can start the meeting straight away. Thank you very much indeed. See you downstairs.